Hi, welcome to another episode of the Humans of EdTech. In this particular episode, I'll be sharing with you the types of people whom I have come across while doing my work in Grey Atom and specifically in the campus segment. More specifically, I'll be speaking about the types of training placement officers. Just to be absolutely be crystal clear, this is not a satire, sarcasm, criticism, or any kind of pointing fingers. On the flip side, this is all about celebrating this particular segment of heroes, of people who essentially work with a lot of activity, operations, initiative to make sure they get results for their colleges and essentially helping a person who is outside of this particular ecosystem to understand how and what is the taxonomy or the hierarchy of people that is typically at play over here. This is not a condescending video at all. This is something that rather is has a very strong educational value for anyone, for any edtech company who wants to venture, to reach out, to interact with these kind of people, and just to get some basic prelim understanding. I just want to reinforce over here. I've spent close to an year interacting with training placement officers across the state of Maharashtra and even beyond. And I have forged some really strong relationships, professional and personal and lifelong too. So here is more of a celebration which brings to you a very clear educational value with respect to what is it that you may expect when you go and visit some of these colleges. Awesome. So I think without any further ado, let's just quickly jump into it. So this is where we come to the taxonomy of training and placement officers. I could have just written types of training and placement officers, but just want to be slightly fancier over here. A perspective which is very recent, something that I can share for the last 12 months. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's a fact-based summary. It's a fact-based summary. Awesome. Let's quickly jump into this. Right. The number one thing that you see when you come across some of the training and placement officers is there are people who essentially call out additional charge. What it typically means is that you will come across a visiting card which reads BTech Mechanical, MTech Metallurgy, has done his or her PhD, and the person calls out in the designation training placement officers bracket additional charge. So essentially, they are professors who are doing a full-time professorial responsibility. They may have BTech, MTech students, possibly also even doctoral candidates who are reporting into them, and they are doing training placement office. They are handling this particular office in their extended capacity, but they essentially don't want to either commit to it, or they are an interim training placement officer or something to that effect. On the flip side, you will have someone who is a full-time training placement officer. The role in life, the mandate in life is training and placement. And they are purpose hired, onboarded for this one particular role, and they have a very well defined set of mandates. Typically, the range of activities, mandates, targets that these people take on is slightly different. Awesome. Team versus solo. So when you go to any of these colleges in any part of the country, to be very honest, you will have colleges with multiple disciplines and multiple degrees and departments. So each of these departments will have their training placement coordinator. Training placement coordinator. And each department in effect will have their own student training placement coordinator. So there is a faculty training placement coordinator, there is a student training placement coordinator. So typically we are looking at a three-tier architecture where there is a central team where you have a training placement officers and a core team of the training placement office, and then you have an extended team spanning across different disciplines of training placement coordinators, the faculty training placement coordinators, and then you have the student training placement coordinators. There are of course colleges where you just have one training placement officer and the rest of the structure may be completely non-existent, or it may be existent but extremely dormant, where the gateway to the college is through a single person or a single office. In some of the colleges, on the flip side, you will have a training placement office which is vibrant, but at the same time, the training placement coordinators are equally active and they are sourcing opportunities, jobs, roles for their departments in a very, very vibrant way. Typically, if the college typically has some sort of a discipline which is civil, production, chemical, where the requirement in the market is very niche. The kind of companies that come for electronics, electrical, IT, CS, are something in one bracket, and on the flip side, some of these core companies. Then I think you might see something like this, where there is a higher degree of decentralization in this particular thing. The next is you will come across some training placement officers where people have a more training orientation, where they essentially would be, talking to students right from the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and they will be having a very structured onboarding training kind of a plan. Or they have more of a placement orientation where they're only looking at people and getting them placed, and they're more outbound in nature where they're only reaching out to the industry partners, getting more companies on the campuses, that kind of a thing. And finally, there is a mix of both, or rather, focus on both. So there is nothing inherently right or wrong, but again, you come to see that this particular training placement office, this particular college is very training focused, and they are very much let's get people ready from year number two, and they'll start conducting webinars, seminars, extra trainings, and everything. Versus you see a college or a chain of colleges where you see that these people are just placement focused. How do I get more and more companies, and they are crafting experiences for recruiters that come to their campuses. Right. One more thing that you will very clearly see is there are training placement officers who have budget, and there are training placement officers who do not have budgets. These are budgets which are in addition to their compensation and their salaries, which the college typically bears, where a discretionary amount is given to these training placement officers where they can spend on industry outreach, on investments, for the training placement office, for general welfare activities, where people come and visit them. So these are the people who have slightly more, I've seen a very clear difference over here. So there are people who will only reach out to you when placements come. But there are people who will reach out to you all around the year for speaking opportunities, for interactions, for hackathons, for internships, for placements, for winter internships, for in general, much more value-added collaborations. So there are people who have that kind of a focus, and that does not necessarily stem from budget, but you will very clearly be able to notice this particular part where there are people who are very well defined with respect to their outlay of hospitality, outlay of budget and discretionary spend, and general welfare of the people who come and visit. So this is something that you will be able to noticeably see on campuses. Very importantly, you will have people who are previously some sort of role in human resources, business development, sales, military, army, navy, some sort of a background in private sector or some sort of a government body where they were having a very outward facing kind of a role, and now they have come to an academia where they have assumed a role of a training placement office. This is not at all very uncommon. In fact, it is something to be seen every fourth college, I would say. A good 15-20% of the people are from this kind of a background. It has its own pros, where people are more outward focused and they are just focused on solving a particular problem. People who have some sort of a learning and development background, HR background, they bring a very strong flavor of skilling. People who are from BizDev kind of a background, they will have a very strong orientation of signing MOUs, partnerships, bringing in training partners on some subsidiary basis, so on and so forth. People who are from Army Navy kind of a background, they have a very very strong focus with respect to bringing in discipline, bringing in values, bringing in the structure, processes into the whole function. And then there are people who have grown internally. If it is like a 3-tier architecture, so a person typically has grown from a TPC, then the TPC for the whole department, then TPC, then the TPO, possibly part of the core team, and then slightly more higher. And there is a parallel journey that the professor also has where the person is assuming various academic positions, right from associate, adjunct, professor, HOD, vice principal. So it's a parallel journey that kind of happens for these professors. So that's what we have here. This is more of an orientation. There are people who are clearly outbound, who are reaching out to the companies. They are very aggressive. They'll reach out to you using LinkedIn. They will have a team of students. They are empowered. They are reaching out. Whereas there are someone who are the college is so very well established and has such a very strong pedigree where companies naturally gravitate towards these colleges, and all they need to do is operationally optimize so that you deliver an awesome experience right from the company approaches you, registers, gets a day 0, day 1, day 2 kind of a slot when they are on campus, when they are taking the students away and they're off campus and orchestrating the whole experience. So it's more of a ERP based kind of an operation, but it's a different orientation. Whereas there are colleges which are growing up and coming, which have their own set of challenges, and they need to grow, and the need for growth is extremely strong. In that case, a very strong outbound oriented training placement officer is a must, and it can make like tremendous difference. And I've seen this in action. I've seen colleges grow over a period of 4 to 6 years, and their placement figures completely flipping, changing because I think just this one particular factor. It's a human factor, but can make a tremendous difference. Awesome. There are training placement offices who have different mandates. One being training placement, and the third can be signing up MOUs, bringing in value-added partners. You want to sign up with people who are giving you academic tools and doing fairs, having a very strong say with respect to the college festivals, Tech Fest, building something over there. So associations, partnerships, MOUs, these are very very important. The college has, and these are the typical placement officers who have a very strong say when it comes to NAC accreditation or the NBA related processes that happen in some of the Indian colleges. So because some of the activities that these people do, it just moves the needle very very significantly with respect to the scoring, with respect to the grading. So this is increasingly a larger mandate that all the training placement officers have to assume. But yeah, but you will come and see this particular thing that there are people who are just focused on placements. Uh, want to write one more point over here. To a outsider, it might seem that placement is a season, but placement is actually a year-long activity where there are companies that come in specific slots, like top four IT recruiters in the India in a normal year. I think 2020 is by no means normal year, but in the normal year would typically start hitting the campuses somewhere in the month of May, June, July, and they have a national grade level test, and then they come to campuses and convert. And then there are, I would say, the top 25 IT companies which typically come where they have a very clearly well-defined set of projections and they kind of hire till December. And then there is a whole host of companies which essentially want to onboard people with immediate effect or can wait for 1 month. So that's like a slightly different size of companies, but yeah. And then there are these companies which are doing backfilling, lateral placements, joint campuses that typically happen in the Jan to May kind of a season. So placement is a year-long kind of a role. So it doesn't mean that people like coming back to this point. It is not that people or training placement officers do placement for 3 months, 4 months, and then they do MOUs and associations. I think it's a parallel activity. There are some genuinely gems and dynamic individuals who have cracked this and made this thing happen. I'm very tempted to take some names. I think there are people who've done some awesome work, but as a rule, I'm not going to do that in this particular video. Awesome. People who have some sort of administrative background versus a professorial background. This quality is more and more pronounced when you come and interact with principals. There are principals whom you can sit down and they will come and discuss with you and what is the uh, why should the college become autonomous, not become autonomous, what do you see, how do you perceive it as an industry, versus there are people who will directly come to the point where this is what we have with respect to subject matter, curriculum, the number of PhDs, and so on and so forth. So I think there are people who have different bents of mind. I have thoroughly enjoyed interacting with principals from both the backgrounds. A principal who was kind of grown, or a training placement officer who was kind of grown from a professorial background, brings a very rich experience with respect to the training component, very very specifically. These people, the professors, also in their capacities through some sort of a industry outreach, formally through their colleges, also take up industry projects. So they have a very good balance with respect to what is it that the industry is expecting and what is it that the students want, because they are like, plugged into their aspirations and what is it, flavor of the season types. Plus, they know what is the value of education. It's a very beautiful balance, and there are some people who are able to strike it. Someone who's from an administrative background, typically it comes coupled with your team structure, process, operational efficiency. Plus, I think they hit the numbers, but in a very different kind of a way. Someone who's an academic heart with an administrator's mind, I think it's going to be a very very potent combination. It happens. I've seen this, and this really really happens very awesome. Great. There are training placement officers who are have the necessary authority to operate within a particular spectrum. They have the very well defined, degree of decentralization, where they are able to take decisions independent of the trustees, board, or the principal. And on the flip side, there are clearly training placement officers who are, just to put very simply, a facade, who are a face for that function, but essentially the decision making is completely centralized with the principal or higher ups. And this is fact of life. And I think it just requires that you understand what are those nuances across a particular campus, and then be able to drive the point with respect to taking your product, service, job offering, placement to the right stakeholder within the college. So that is something that is very very critical. If you're able to understand this particular dynamic on campus, it's going to be very very interesting and valuable. Right, guys. So I just want to wrap up over here. There is nothing right or wrong in what I have said. There's nothing good or bad. And I have put like a versus over there just to drive home the points, but just to bring out the whole thing. Choice A versus choice B. A is always good. B is always bad. B is always good. A is always bad. It's not like that. Um, Life is fuzzy. Choices are fuzzy. And the taxonomy offered over here is just to help you structure your thoughts with respect to, okay, if you are from a biz dev function, if you're from an academics function, if you're from a business function, and if you need to approach them for whatever reasons, how do you kind of understand, okay, what's happening right here? Everyone has their space in the rightful ecosystem, and each one of them is creating impact in a very very interesting way in their respective organizations and colleges, and that's a beautiful thing. Last but not the least, I think in my experience of having spent a lot of time with the training placement offices all across, I've spent it in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. These were three particular states. One thing I would say is that you will come across people with extraordinary grit, dedication to their cause, people who want the best for their students, mission focused individuals who want to get some numbers achieved for their college, for their administration, but most importantly for the students. Uh, Last parting comment: training placement office and training placement officers are very potent individuals. The office is very very potent. They can create significant impact within the campus ecosystem. The say that they have with respect to creating an impact, with respect to shaping a career of an individual, shaping a career of a prospective student who's going to become an employee in the industry, is humongous. And I think they can shape in a very very significant way. This is not to put the contributions of teacher at level 2, but these people essentially are some sort of a finishing school in themselves. They are the window for the college to the outside world. They essentially reorient the college with respect to what is happening outside. So this particular college makes a tremendous impact. The kind of respect some of these people command, not just in tier 2 cities, where if someone gets a job, you're not just securing a job for that particular person, but you're securing income source for the whole family. So I think the demigod status that some of these people enjoy in a tier 2 or a tier 3 kind of a college setting but also in tier 1, because it is the kind of impact that this office can create. And having seen that firsthand, I think it's a very, very interesting role to assume. It's a very, very compelling role to assume for any individual in the college. And hats off to all these people. Hope this video served out as an introduction, as a, just a very, very mild, progressive, simple introduction to what the training placement officers and training placement office is in this particular state, specifically Maharashtra. That's where my maximum exposure has been, and help you, possibly structure out your thoughts. Let me know, what are your interpretations, what are your thoughts with respect to this particular video, and I'll be keep coming back to you with more and more interesting such videos on edtech, on product, on delivery, design, and campus. So yeah, stay tuned. I will see you soon. Thank you so much. I think the best place to reach out to me is LinkedIn, so do follow me, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.